So today I will be refuting about the claim that reading the classics creates a model, and this model is beneficial for critical thinking. Therefore, reading the classics benefits everyone. So the claim that I will be making to refute it is that although I agree with the main point, his supporting points he was making lacked a sufficient amount of information and sources to back his main point. The opponent's secondary claims include classics aren't easily eradicated. There are many benefits from reading, and the act of reading is favored in the professional world. The first claim that he makes takes an unexpected turn for what is expected, because he states that the classics aren't easily eradicated. Does not. His claim takes an unexpected turn for what is expected, because stating that the classics aren't easily eradicated doesn't have much to do with his claim. Just because the classics aren't easily eradicated does not suggest that they are beneficial for critical thinking and or beneficial for everyone. The secondary claim that he makes gives a list of benefits of reading, which were an intensive development of interpretative and analytical skills needed for college, a better understanding of critical differences, and more sophisticated input for writing skills. All this is gathered from one source and isn't really further explained. Something that could have been done to prove supporting the points is gathering more evidence that proves the same point. For instance, in an article written in the New York Times by Pam Bullock, she writes, a study published in the Journal of Science found that after reading literary fiction and opposed to popular fiction or serious nonfiction, people performed better on tests measuring empathy, social perception, and emotional intelligence. Skills that come in especially handy when you are trying to read someone's body language or gauge what they might be thinking. The same article also states that Emmanuel Cristano, a psychology professor, and David Conrad, a doctoral candidate, found that people who read literary fiction scored better than those who read popular fiction. This was true even though when asked, subjects said they did not enjoy literary fiction as much. Literary fiction readers also scored better than nonfiction readers, and popular fiction readers made as many mistakes as people who did nothing or read nothing. These are only some of the examples of evidence that were needed to further prove his point. His third claim and last claim, he stated that the act of reading the classics is favored in the professional world. He supports his claim by saying that reading is an art form that transfers knowledge and prepares students with models to use for interpretation. At the beginning of his speech, he mentions models but never really explains what the models represent or what it is they are modeling, which leaves me with some confusion and what it is he is arguing for. Also, his main claim is that reading the classics is beneficial for critical thinking and that it benefits everyone. This also does not support his main claim, rather it is proving a different point of view of how the classics is beneficial for people. Overall, the underlying issue with the claim of fact being presented was that it was being tailored to a very specific set of benefits that reading the classics have. The secondary claims were proving a more broader benefit than was originally being presented. Thank you.
All right, Esteban, you start off identifying the proposition and the secondary claims, which I think is fine, but right in the middle of doing that, you also agree with the proposition. So I'm wondering why we continue to have the discussion. In essence, you've conceded that the argument is true. We no longer have conflict. We don't meet the standard of where an argument exists anymore. Now it's just a question of who does a better job of making the argument, and that's not what the assignment is. It's a little problematic, the strategy that you've used. You've kind of done a criticism of the argument. He failed to provide adequate proof, and here's proof that he did so by providing the adequate proof, and that doesn't work very well. I think I've used the example before in here, maybe you weren't here to hear it, of a defense attorney offering proof that the prosecution didn't present to the guilt of their own client. That's not exactly, that'll get you malpractice. That's not what you're looking at here. I think the argument that says that there's an insufficient amount of evidence is a good way to start. And then anything that would raise doubt about what the evidence was that would presented would be a good follow-up. And then, if you don't want to make a contradictory claim, you don't have to make a contradictory claim. Just leave it at that particular point. Can we make the inference that the advocate is correct based on what's presented? And you simply say no. That would be fine. But there are, I think, contradictory claims that can be made here. That you could argue, for instance, that a lot of people have successfully navigated the professional world, have managed to be relatively erudite and clear without having read the classics. And maybe you could even provide a couple of examples of people like that. On the first point, I did think that you had a very rational response to that, and that is that it doesn't really support the main proposition. It's not relevant. It's just background information more than anything else. So I thought that was pretty good. Your challenge about models seems to come a little bit late. You need to talk to the audience more. Look up at us. We're here. You don't have to worry about it. We're pretty friendly. Okay, well, maybe a couple of them up there are kind of intimidating, but most of them are pretty friendly. And you need to project your voice a little bit more so that you're a little more in control. All right, thank you.